If you're drinking beet juice because you believe it's good for your heart or helps keep your blood pressure under control, I want you to listen closely for a moment. Because for many people later in life, beet juice doesn't fail loudly. It fails quietly. And that's why the problem often goes unnoticed. Beet juice is known as a healthy drink, natural, plant-based, supported by science. So when small symptoms appear, most people never suspect it. A light wave of dizziness, a heavy feeling in the stomach, energy that feels unpredictable, blood pressure readings that start to fluctuate instead of stabilize. These changes don't seem serious at first. They're easy to dismiss. Most people blame aging. They assume the body is just slowing down. But what's really happening is simpler and more important. Beet juice sends a strong signal to your blood vessels and circulation. And as the body changes, the way it responds to that signal changes too. The habit stays the same. The body doesn't. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 common beet juice mistakes that can quietly create problems later in life. These aren't extreme behaviors. They're everyday routines people believe are healthy. Mistakes involving timing, combinations, and amounts that rarely get explained clearly. If beet juice has ever left you feeling off, even slightly, this video will help you understand why. Not to scare you, not to tell you to stop, but to help you use it in a way that actually supports your body now, instead of working against it. Let's start with the mistake almost everyone makes without realizing it. Combination number 1. Beet juice with banana smoothies. This combination looks harmless. It even feels smart. Beet juice for circulation, banana for potassium and energy. Blend them together, and you get what many people believe is the perfect healthy smoothie. In the US, this is one of the most common ways beet juice is consumed. And that's exactly why this mistake often goes unnoticed. Here's what's really happening. Beet juice is a vasodilator. It tells blood vessels to relax and open. Banana adds a fast rise in natural sugar and a high potassium load. When both hit the body at once, in liquid form, the signals stack quickly. Blood vessels open. Sugar enters the bloodstream fast. Potassium rises. There's no fiber, no digestion time, no buffer. Earlier in life, the body could smooth that out. Later in life, regulation changes. Blood pressure doesn't rebound as quickly. Kidneys clear minerals more slowly. Medications add another layer of complexity. Instead of steady energy, some people feel lightheaded. Others feel drained. Some notice their heart rhythm feels slightly off for a while. Not alarming, just uncomfortable enough to raise questions. What makes this combination risky is how easy it is to misread. You don't blame the smoothie. You blame poor sleep, stress, the weather, or you tell yourself it's just age. Meanwhile, the same pattern repeats, and the body keeps sending quiet signals that something isn't lining up. Bananas aren't bad. Beet juice isn't the enemy. The issue is timing and compression. 2 powerful foods, stripped of fiber, entering the system at the same moment. That's not how the body processes them best later in life. A safer approach is simple. Don't blend them together. Drink beet juice on its own, in a small amount. Eat bananas with meals, where digestion is slower and more stable. Separation restores balance. Stacking creates chaos. And this matters, because banana isn't the only ingredient that quietly amplifies beet juice in ways most people never expect. Combination number 2. Beet juice with blood pressure medications. A lot of people notice this one without realizing what it is. Blood pressure medication is taken as prescribed. Beet juice is added with the intention of supporting the heart naturally. And somewhere in between, things start feeling off. It's not dramatic. You don't collapse. You don't panic. You just feel weaker than usual. Standing up feels slower. Mornings feel heavier. Some days, energy drops for no clear reason. Many people assume their medication needs adjusting, or they accept it as a normal part of getting older. Here's what's actually happening. Blood pressure medications are designed to relax blood vessels in a controlled way. Beet juice sends a similar message through nitric oxide. When those two signals overlap, especially close together, the body doesn't average them out. It stacks them. Blood vessels relax more than expected, and pressure can dip lower than the system is comfortable with. Liquid foods move fast. Beet juice doesn't wait for digestion to slow it down. It reaches circulation quickly, often faster than people realize. When that timing lines up with medication, especially on an empty stomach, the effect can feel unpredictable. Not dangerous enough to trigger alarms, but uncomfortable enough to create doubt. That's why so many people miss the connection. The symptoms are subtle. They come and go, and they don't feel like a food problem. Later in life, subtle overlaps matter more than bold mistakes. The body has less tolerance for mixed signals. The solution isn't choosing between natural support and prescribed care. It's separation and awareness. Giving the body time between signals, respecting that two things doing the same job at once can cancel out the benefit instead of strengthening it. And this pattern of interference doesn't stop with blood pressure pills. The next mistake involves something many people take every single day without ever questioning the timing. Combination number 3. Beet juice with blood thinners. This one is easy to overlook because nothing feels wrong at first. You don't feel dizzy. You don't feel sick. There's no immediate reaction telling you to stop. That's exactly why this mistake can last for a long time without being noticed. Blood thinners depend on consistency, the same dose, the same timing, a predictable response from the body. That stability is what keeps things safe. Beet juice, on the other hand, changes how blood moves. It increases nitric oxide. It makes vessels more flexible. It speeds circulation. On its own, that sounds helpful. But when circulation changes without adjusting the rest of the system, balance can quietly slip. As the body ages, it becomes more sensitive to shifts in flow. Beet juice, especially in liquid form, acts quickly, faster than most foods. When it overlaps too closely with blood thinners, the body receives competing signals. One is trying to keep clotting behavior steady. The other is changing how blood moves through the vessels. The result isn't an emergency. It's instability. That's why people don't connect the dots. The signs are subtle. Bruises that appear more easily. Fatigue that lingers longer than expected. Recovery that feels slower after small bumps or minor strain. Many assume this is just aging skin or weaker tissue. Often it's circulation behaving differently than the medication was designed for. What makes this combination risky isn't beet juice itself. It's timing and repetition. Liquid nutrients don't respect spacing unless you give them space. When beet juice becomes a daily habit, layered on top of medications that rely on precision, small inconsistencies start adding up. Awareness changes everything here. Separating beet juice from medication windows. Reducing frequency. Watching how the body responds instead of assuming everything natural is automatically neutral. These adjustments don't remove benefits. They restore control. And if you think interactions only happen with prescriptions, the next mistake proves otherwise. Because even supplements people trust for strength and recovery can quietly clash with beet juice in ways most never expect. Combination number 4. Beet juice with protein powders or collagen. Protein powders and collagen are often added to beet juice for one simple reason: efficiency. Muscle support, recovery, and circulation all handled at once. One drink that feels complete, logical, responsible. The problem is that efficiency on paper doesn't always translate to efficiency inside the body. Protein powders and collagen are dense. They require time, digestive enzymes, and a stable environment to break down properly. Beet juice works in the opposite direction. It accelerates circulation and pushes signals forward quickly. When these two processes happen at the same time, digestion loses its rhythm. Later in life, that rhythm matters more. The stomach adapts more slowly. Enzyme output becomes less flexible. When beet juice arrives alongside concentrated protein, food can sit heavier than expected. Bloating shows up. Pressure builds in the upper stomach. Reflux appears where it didn't before. Fullness lingers long after the drink is finished. Instead of feeling fueled, the body feels weighed down. There's also a metabolic load to consider. Beet juice increases blood flow and activity in the liver. Protein powders and collagen demand processing and filtration. When both arrive together, the system is asked to do too much at once. Not smarter, just harder. The discomfort that follows is often blamed on aging digestion, when it's really a timing issue. Protein isn't the problem. Collagen isn't the problem. The issue is asking fast signals and slow digestion to coexist in the same moment. Mixing them blurs the benefits of both. Neither works the way it's supposed to. Separation restores clarity. Beet juice works best on its own, when the system is light. Protein and collagen work best with meals, when digestion can focus. One clear job at a time allows absorption to improve and discomfort to fade. And timing becomes even more important when the body is under physical stress, which leads directly to the next mistake. Combination number 5. Beet juice at the wrong time. Beet juice often gets used at the exact moment the body is least prepared for it. After a walk, after exercise, after yard work, or during that drained, low-energy window when something feels off. In those moments, beet juice feels like the right choice. It's associated with circulation and energy, so the timing seems logical. What's easy to miss is that beet juice is not hydration. It doesn't restore fluid volume. It doesn't replace what was lost through sweat or exertion. What it does is open blood vessels and increase circulation. When the body is already low on fluids, that signal creates imbalance. Circulation expands, but there isn't enough fluid to support it smoothly. Later in life, the body is far less forgiving of that mismatch. Blood pressure regulation slows. Compensation takes longer. That's why lightheadedness, weakness, or a slightly shaky feeling can show up after drinking beet juice in these moments. Not sickness, not panic. Just enough discomfort to make you pause and wonder what went wrong. This is often misread. The assumption is overexertion, lack of food, or simple fatigue. The drink itself rarely gets questioned, but beet juice taken while dehydrated can amplify that drained feeling instead of correcting it. Timing after activity matters as well. Physical effort already shifts circulation toward working muscles. When beet juice is added immediately afterward, another circulatory signal is layered onto a system that hasn't settled yet. Instead of supporting recovery, it creates instability. The adjustment here is simple but important. Hydrate first, plain water. Give the body time to rebalance and restore volume. Beet juice works best when the system is calm and supported, not when it's already stretched thin. And this leads directly to a mistake that doesn't cause symptoms right away, but quietly creates problems over time when it becomes a daily habit without much thought. Combination number 6. Drinking beet juice every day without rotation. Daily habits feel safe. When something is labeled healthy, repeating it every day feels like discipline. Beet juice easily slips into that category. One drink, same routine. No reason to question it. The issue isn't beet juice itself. It's repetition without variation. Beet juice is naturally high in oxalates. These compounds don't cause problems overnight. They accumulate quietly. When intake happens day after day, the body has fewer chances to clear what it doesn't need. As the system ages, that clearance slows even more. At first, nothing feels wrong. That's why this pattern lasts so long. There's no sharp warning, no immediate discomfort. Instead, small changes begin to appear. Subtle joint stiffness, a heavier feeling after meals, digestion that feels less predictable. Over time, mineral balance shifts, and the kidneys quietly take on more strain without sending a clear signal. Consistency often gets mistaken for safety, but the body doesn't thrive on sameness. It thrives on rhythm and variation. Rotation gives organs time to reset. It prevents buildup. It keeps balance intact. When beet juice starts functioning like a daily supplement instead of a food, repetition becomes the problem. Beet juice doesn't need to be eliminated. It just shouldn't dominate. Alternating days, rotating with lower oxalate options, allowing breaks. These small adjustments reduce long-term stress while preserving the benefits people are looking for in the first place. And this brings us to the final mistake. Not one specific combination, but a pattern that connects all the others. Because the real issue isn't beet juice alone. It's how healthy habits are stacked together, day after day, without giving the body room to adapt. Combination number 7, stacking too many healthy ingredients in one glass. At some point, beet juice stops being a simple drink and becomes a container for everything labeled healthy. Fruit goes in, greens follow, seeds, powders, collagen, maybe a sweetener. The goal is efficiency. One glass that promises energy, circulation, digestion, and recovery all at once. Inside the body, that efficiency turns into pressure. When multiple strong ingredients are compressed into liquid form, every signal arrives at the same moment. Blood sugar rises faster than expected. Circulation shifts abruptly. Digestion gets pushed forward before it has time to organize itself. There's no pacing, no sequence, no room for adjustment. Just overload delivered all at once. Earlier in life, the system could absorb that hit and recover. Later on, tolerance narrows. The gut reacts more quickly. Blood pressure feels less predictable. Energy becomes inconsistent. Instead of feeling nourished or supported, the body feels heavy, bloated, or strangely drained after a drink that was supposed to help. What makes this pattern so convincing is that nothing in the glass looks wrong. Each ingredient has a health reputation. Each one is considered beneficial on its own. But health doesn't come from piling benefits together. Especially not when everything is forced to work at the same time, through the fastest route possible. The body doesn't process complexity well in liquid form. It responds best to clarity. One signal at a time. Space between inputs. Time to adapt. When too many jobs arrive together, none of them are handled properly. Benefits blur. Stress accumulates quietly. This is why simplifying often brings the biggest shift. Fewer ingredients. Clear timing. Letting the body focus on one task instead of juggling several. When habits stop competing with each other, the body responds in a calm, steady way. And that calm response is usually the clearest sign that balance is finally being restored. If there's one takeaway from this video, it's simple. Beet juice was never the problem. Confusion was. Habits stayed the same while the body kept changing. And no one explained that the rules don't stay fixed forever. None of these mistakes happened because you were careless. They happened because the advice was incomplete. Drink it daily. Blend it with healthy foods. Don't worry about timing. Those messages sound reasonable, but they ignore how the body actually responds later in life. And when signals are missed long enough, the body doesn't shout. It whispers. What matters now isn't doing everything perfectly. It's awareness. Understanding that beet juice is a signal, not just a drink. That timing matters, separation matters, rotation matters, Small adjustments, done consistently, often create bigger changes than adding more ingredients or chasing stronger routines. When habits start making sense again, people notice it quietly. Energy steadies. Digestion feels lighter. Blood pressure feels more predictable. Not because anything was forced, but because the system underneath is no longer being pushed in 5 directions at once. You don't need to give beet juice up. You just need to use it in a way that fits the body you have now, not the one you had decades ago. If one of these mistakes felt familiar, leave a comment below. Even a short comment helps this message reach more people who need it. If this video helped something click for you, tap the like button so the platform knows this information matters. And if you want more videos about real food and real habits that actually fit real life, consider subscribing.